Welcome to the Jukebox of Fame channel. In today's video, we're gonna dive into a touching story. A son who fell from the 53rd floor inspired one of this artist's biggest hits. Join us as we uncover yet another heart-rending tale. The third month of the year brings with it a time filled with sadness for this vocalist. By the end of March, in the year 1991, the music performer suffered the loss of his son, who was just 4 years old at the time of a tragic accident. In a short while after, he composed a melody heavy with anguish as a tribute to this irreplaceable loss. This is the narrative that revolves around Eric Clapton and his composition titled Tears in Heaven.
Would it be the same?
March 1991 marks the moment when the tragedy that served as inspiration for the aforementioned song occurred. His son, Conor, then at the age of 4, was playing near an unprotected window when, sadly, he fell from the 53rd floor of a building they were in at that time, located in New York. Lori Del Santo, the former wife of the singer, and little Conor were on a pleasant visit to Eric Clapton in the city of New York, with the purpose of spending some quality time together as a family. Despite the separation the couple had gone through, the Italian model and the musician started their relationship when he was still married to Patty Boyd. Shortly after, Lori became pregnant. Eric Clapton was legally married to Patty. In 1989, 3 years after Conor's birth, they finally separated. During this period, in a meeting in New York, Clapton, who until then had been distant in Conor's life, sought to strengthen the bonds with his son. On the day before the tragic accident, Eric and Conor went to the Long Island Circus together. Lori recalls that day as one of the happiest moments in the boy's life. They thoroughly enjoyed the occasion. When Eric returned, he looked at me and expressed that he finally understood the true meaning of having a child and being a father. His joy was evident. It was the first time Eric spent a few hours alone with our son Conor, who in turn was deeply moved by the amazing day he had shared with his father. This memory was shared by the model in an interview. The next morning, on March 20th, Eric had planned to meet Lori and Conor at his apartment in Manhattan, where he was staying, to take them to the New York Zoo. While Lori was getting ready for the visit, Conor was playing with the nanny. It was 11 o'clock in the morning, and she called from the bathroom for Conor to hurry up. He replied that he would be ready in a minute, as Lori recalls. The building's janitor was cleaning the apartment's windows. Lori instructed the nanny not to lose sight of the boy, who was engrossed in a game of hide-and-seek, running back and forth. The nanny, who was having fun chasing the boy, suddenly stopped when alerted by the janitor that he had opened the window. Unaware of the glass being removed by the worker, Conor seized the opportunity to run towards the window. A distressed scream cut through the air, but it didn't come from Conor, it was the nanny. She rushed to the room, in a hysterical state, repeatedly asking frantically, "Where is Conor? Where is Conor?" Then, when she saw the open window, Lori instantly understood what had happened. A feeling of weakness overcame her, resulting in her fainting. The worst-case scenario had become a reality. Conor had fallen from the 53rd floor and met his immediate death upon touching the roof of another building. Lori, the child's mother, holds the belief that the responsibility for her son's death lies with the janitor. This belief is exacerbated by the absence of any apology from the man for what happened. The janitor called an ambulance, but hopes were minimal. Lori didn't have the strength to even face the visit to the morgue. It was the singer Eric Clapton who had to undertake this difficult task, observing his son's body. During this period, Eric Clapton was immersed in a hectic life, marked by alcohol and drug dependence, as well as a family dynamic so complex that it could rival soap opera plots. He believed that his mother was, in fact, his grandmother, while the figure he thought was his sister was his biological mother. This discovery led him down dangerous paths of self-destruction, deeply affecting many of his personal relationships. However, the accident ultimately became a turning point in the musician's life. Initially, Clapton plunged into a state of deep depression, from which he could only emerge with the help of friends and family who tirelessly supported him for an extended period. Contrary to expectations, his son's death gave him a new strength to fight alcoholism and stay sober from then on. On the other hand, Laurie was blessed with motherhood once again. Just a week after the tragic loss of Conor, she discovered she was pregnant with her second child. The father of this child was Italian businessman Silvio Sardi. The boy, named Devin, came into the world 2 days after what would have been Conor's 5th birthday. 8 years after the tragedy, in 1999, Laurie's third child, named Loren, was born. Loren's paternal origin was never revealed, a secret held by the Italian. However, once again, life had a sorrowful fate in store. In August 2018, Loren took his own life due to a battle against a mental illness that plagued him. Despite the shared misfortune, Eric and Laurie never discussed the matter with each other. 9 months after the tragedy, Clapton gathered his strength and returned to his dedication to composition, resulting in the remarkable song Tears in Heaven.
And I know there'll be no more tears in heaven.
The inspiration for this melody spontaneously emerged in his mind. The singer channeled his anguish into the music, and one of these compositions was incorporated into the soundtrack of the film Rush, also known as Rush, A Journey to Hell. Thus, the touching song was born, and of course, we must not forget the song Circus Left Town, a ballad written by Clapton, inspired by the last night he spent with his son Conor.
So sad, there ain't no easy way around.
Tears in Heaven was composed by Clapton in collaboration with Will Jennings, a composer also responsible for the famous soundtrack of the 1997 film Titanic. Despite the great success achieved by the song, Clapton would always become emotional when performing it in his shows. Later, when he stopped including it in his performances, he explained that he had completed a stage of the grieving process. The song no longer evoked the same intensity of emotion as before, but he didn't want it to be solely associated with that pain. In contrast, Laurie feels a deep aversion to the song. She has never listened to it and has no desire to do so. In an interview, she recounted that once, when she was in Amsterdam, the song came on the radio. When the first chords sounded, she ran away so she wouldn't have to hear it. Indeed, Eric Clapton's music, although beautiful and filled with painful emotions, resonates with suffering and inevitably touches the souls of those who listen to it. The song was Eric Clapton's best-selling single in the United States and reached number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart. In Clapton's native UK, it reached number 5 on the UK singles chart and also made it into the top 10 in over 20 countries around the world. It won 3 Grammy Awards for Best Male Pop Vocal Performance, Song of the Year, and Record of the Year. In 2004, Rolling Stone ranked Tears in Heaven at 362nd place on its list of the 500 greatest songs of all time. And that's the story of the song Tears in Heaven. Don't forget to give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. Until next time.